Welcome to our Google group for September 2024. I'm joined with Stephen Hazel, who's our account manager, Albert, who's our administration advisor, and we also have Connor, who might be over in the corner, who's basically our marketing apprentice, who's looking at setting all this stuff up for us in the future to make sure these go better, much more smoother. So the idea is they will get much more better as we sort of go along. Today's session, we're literally going to be covering three main topics. So we're going to give you an update on the Google development work we've been doing over the last couple of months, particularly around GCPW, to show people some of the updates we've done on that. We're also then going to go into a live demonstration about e-signatures, because we know, looking at our customer base and people who use Google Workspace, we notice not a lot of people use e-signatures, if any at all. So we just want to show people you can now do e-signatures within Google at no additional cost. It's all part of your Google basically for education setup if you've got one of the paid editions. And then we're also going to go into at the end looking at Gemini, and we're going to show you the differences between, as a brief update, the differences between Google Gemini, was it paid edition, as opposed to the Google Web free edition as well, and how they could be actually used. And for everyone who attends today on our stream, we're also going to be giving everyone a 30 ways how to use Gemini within your school or business environment. So everyone who signed up today will basically get that copy in the next few days sent out to them. And if you've got any questions, we can sort of talk about that throughout the live presentation or the live event. Feel free to use chat, ask any questions you may want to ask, and Stephen and Albert will be answering some of those questions. Anything we think might be worth sharing with the wider people joining, we'll basically be able to cover that as well as part of our sort of session. So let's get started. So Google, basically a Google Credential Provider for Windows. We're one of a few companies across the UK, and if not across Europe, who's basically been involved in the GCPW project since 2019. Working with Google, and as people can probably see on the screen I've got at the moment, this is the Google update page of the product since it got launched basically late 2019, beginning of 2020. And during this period, we've worked with Google on actually creating an environment for basically any organization to effectively go serverless. So where we're talking about serverless, we're talking about moving on-site premises servers away from that organization and making sure everything connects through a cloud environment. And that cloud environment, you just need to make sure you have the right internet connections, the right network switching and wireless capabilities to be able to make sure your devices connect directly to the Google Cloud Platform, which I'm sure a lot of people know how to do that anyway already, but if you're not sure, feel free to talk to us about that. But the key thing is then we needed to have a platform. So we use two platforms for our customers. We use Microsoft 365, but literally we also use Google GCPW. And over the last 4 years, been working with Google on actually developing this product into a product where literally you'll be able to go to any Windows PC or Chrome device or whatever your choice is in the environment to actually logging in with your single Google ID and things, and it follows you around. So what I'm going to show you is just literally, this is the development timeline, and the development behind the agent sort of stopped in September 23, 2021, and it wasn't like GCPW stopped in 2021. It just literally the agent was its most stable version. The key thing what basically people need to use when they're using GCPW is literally in the admin console. So in the admin console, which I'm showing on screen now, I will actually make it a bit bigger so people can see. In the screen, a lot of people get confused when they do when the agent is an old, the agent ain't been updated for a while, doesn't mean GCPW is not going to be around. They're not, is Google not developing for it? That's not the case. The case is that the agent is actually fully stable, and it's actually doesn't need no more further updates applied to it at present. And what should be people doing is in that period is literally just using the GCPW console within Google Workspace, and and the thing what changes all the time is the custom settings area. And the custom settings area, if people are not familiar with group policy from Windows days, is effectively that. It's literally a set of basically policies which manage your Windows devices. So where you're used to basically locking down the device to do certain things where either students can't access certain applications, or you don't want them to see all the settings, or you've got staff members who are not supposed to install things, you can block all that sort of stuff, and you can create your own custom scripts and things within GCPW to do that. But basically, this information here in the custom settings, it pulls directly from a Microsoft database called the OMA URL, which basically Microsoft keep updated as an open standard. And all we have to do is basically type into here, and you'll just see this links directly to Microsoft's database as an open source database. And then here you choose which basically policy you want to apply on your devices and what groups that needs to actually go to. And what you can do as well with the little eye icon, it tells you a little bit more information about how this device is deployed, and it tells you it's copyrighted by the Microsoft Corporation who does all this stuff. So if people have been using GCPW since 2020 up to that period and haven't seen no updates appear, it just literally, this platform's stable. It just literally, you need to go through into custom settings and start adding settings what you want in your environment outside of the basic settings which Google provides you with, which they manage through the console directly, which is the agent. How your systems are going to be updated, and basically can users enroll devices, not enroll devices, you make the choice. Who should be admin, how the actual device gets its updates from Windows Update. Now, one thing which is really interesting about Windows Update, I will mention now on here, just because it's this latest news will come from Microsoft early this week, is that in the Windows Update settings, we have it always default set up. It just pulls it down from Windows, from Microsoft Cloud, and just downloads the updates, as you would do if you was a home user and things like that. I think so it's that. But some organizations use the Windows Update services where you've got your own server on site. Microsoft's announced that basically Server 2025, this will be a depreciated feature, and in future version servers it will no longer be used, and basically people have to adopt Microsoft Azure cloud services, or basically using the Microsoft Cloud, or what we're using at the moment here, to get updates in the future. So by default, if people are using GCPW and have got Windows update services applied, it may be worth you looking at creating some sort of project to transition from WSUS over the next 12 months to basically the standard version, which is already built into GCPW, and so you don't have any issues in the future with WSUS when it fully stops as a feature-rich environment. Microsoft saying it's fully supported at the moment. They don't see any major changes. It just won't be part of the ongoing update features, and it's a depreciated service. So how long that means, no one sort of knows. It could be 1 year, it could be 10 years. But to avoid any disruptions, we're sort of saying to customers, start looking at using basically the Microsoft Cloud update services and things to actually avoid that. Then you've got BitLocker settings just for doing your normal encryption on your Windows machines, and then you have custom settings. So Google manage those sort of things there, but the custom settings allows you to create your own policies, as we discussed earlier. Now, one of the things we worked with Google over the basically early this year, from April right through to July, we basically worked on making sure there's policies available for Windows 11, and we was pleased to announce that literally on the 22nd of July, as you can see on the page here, Google released the latest update, July 22nd, which shows you the latest version requirements, the latest version of GCPW, which fixes some issues, but also makes it basic, brings up the standard of compatibility with Windows 11. And the bits what we've done, once we've done that, the bits what we've got working with the Windows 11, additional things we've added on there is in our deployments for our customers now, we've added in disk management, where in a shared PC environment, if you've got many people using that same PC, so example, a shared office environment, hot desking, or in a school, ICT suites, examples, you'd have many people logging in all the time. We've actually created basically some scripts and policies now that where your device gets to like literally less than 25% less of storage on that device, it will start removing the oldest profiles and the oldest data from that device associated to that person. So if you had one person logged in basically a year ago and they downloaded 200 gigabits of data on that device and haven't logged on since, and then someone else uses the device, it'll basically, okay, that new person ain't logged in for nearly 6 months, they're taking it over basically the storage on this device, it automatically delete that to basically keep that device refreshed and make sure it's got enough storage there to actually run the Windows operating system and any other sort of like resources you may have on top of that sort of system as well. We've also, as part of that, we've also introduced a few other things where we've introduced Copilot, where Copilot was appearing on some PCs and people didn't want that there. We've got a policy now which literally hides the initial part of Copilot. So if it's not part of your platform, don't want to use it, it actually removes it. And we've also got chat icons as well, also now sort of like depreciated, so people don't see that as part of their sort of start menus on there as well. And the last thing we've also done, we've introduced some of the new Xbox Live stuff where we've actually disabled that, so people don't have Xbox gaming services there. But again, if people want that, fine, you don't have to have that there. But these policies are stuff we've all created on the system. And things we've been adding those things in, which are just Windows 11 Pacific sort of systems. And the last one we also added was the news and interest as well. So sometimes it's annoying when you have got a Windows machine in an office environment, or basically in a classroom, that you have news and interest comes up saying this is your latest weather, or this is the latest news going on. We've actually got policies now which actually sort of block that with on the network as well, again via GCPW. Anyone who has services from ourselves and they're using GCPW, we roll out basically literally once a quarter a number of updates, and we push it out to all of our customers so they actually have that. People who don't use our service and want to know how to do that sort of stuff, feel free to reach out and we'll basically cover how you basically can use some of the GCPW policies and stuff like that on there as well. And that's our main thing on our main big update on GCPW and things like that. Do you have any questions for anyone that? No.
Nothing so far.
Real good. So that's one of the big updates we've done. Took a lot of time over that. We've updated 55 policies to go out to our customers as part of our big push on the GCPW things and creating that serverless environment for people. So we're glad to say we've got quite a few people now who literally do not have server now. There's a little link what we actually get. Now the key thing for this integration with 365, we have to have two-full factor because we're partnered with Microsoft, so they force you to have two-full factor on everything, even on SSO synchronization. One of the things what's going to be changing over the next 12 to 24 months is that Microsoft Office 2019 is the last version you can have installed on your PCs as an on-premise Microsoft Office application. Microsoft are transitioning everything to basically Office 365. That's the on-site. So when you've basically got your full installation on your PC, that'll basically be, instead of saying Office 2019, it would say basically Microsoft Office 365. People may have that already in place. But when you sign into it, instead of having put in either a Mac key or a KMS key, it'll just ask you to put in your username and password, which would be your Microsoft system. So what we've designed and what we've implemented is literally a single sign-on with Google and Microsoft, and all we have to do is basically click on a little Microsoft 365 logo here, and that would take us directly, or done it earlier on, it takes us directly into our 365 account, and we can obviously use Office within our 365 account. But if we've got basically Office installed on our Windows device or Apple Mac device, we just literally click on the sign-in button, and literally what will happen is that when the Microsoft login comes up, you put in your Microsoft account, put your Google account in, and then basically Google, and it will redirect you to your Google logon. And when you put your Google logon in as normal credential details, it will just sign you in as normal, and it just basically all sorts out for you in your Google system and in your Microsoft system. If you want to change your password, you have to change your password in your Google system, and when you change it in Google, it updates all your other systems. Part of the single sign-on process, what we've also managed to do as well, we've also set up, it's been for a while now, but we've also set up basically Apple Business Manager or Apple School Manager, depending on what organization you are. So if I go to iCloud Services and I click on iCloud and I press sign in, on here, it'll recognize my actual sign-in address, and it'll just tell me who I am straight away, and I click on continue, and it basically raises Apple Federated Services for me, and it gives me access to iCloud. As simple as that as well. So we've got everything now, it all manages from Google Workspace all the way through, connected with Microsoft 365 and Apple Federated Services as well. So you only need to have an account set up within Google, and it creates everything for you, automatically provisioning and deprovisioning. So when you add a user to your Google, it creates it within all those other systems automatically, assigns it to the right groups and so on. If that person leaves or you need to delete it, you can actually delete that person from Google, and it removes it from all those systems as well for you. So it's really, really quick on how that actually works. And it's really, really well. In a school environment, if you're using a system like an MIS system and you've got integration with a system like Wand, what would happen then is that the MIS system will basically talk to Wand, and Wand will basically put that into Google. And once it hits Google, it will actually update all those systems for you automatically as well, which means school environments will be able to keep their MIS, as long as their MIS is updated, it will keep all their Google and their environment updated, including GCPW and all the stuff on there, all their desktops, Macs devices, iOS, Android, all that sort of stuff, and Chrome devices. So we think it's a really smart sort of solution. It's been developed basically over the last sort of 6 months, and we're sort of really pleased to say that it's now available. We want to show it's out there for you for that sort of stuff as well. So that's part of our work we've done. GCPW updates with Windows 11, some of the new features we've added to that, along with the new agent, and it's now available to use, and also integration, federated integration into Microsoft, and federated integration into Apple as well. Okay, the next thing we just want to go on to show you also, which is it's been around for a while, but not everyone's been using it, so we wanted to show people how to use e-signatures. So a lot of people use companies like DocuSign, Adobe e-sign systems, things like that. Obviously costs some money for doing that systems. And the question is, did you know Google's got something built into their system where you can actually create those same type of e-signature documents? And it's really, really simple to implement. So the way we implement this is that, first of all, we have to turn on e-signatures, and we go to Tools, and we choose e-signatures, and this appears as this little toolbar appears here. And what we can do now, we can actually create something really, really simple. So I'm just going to do a quick table. Like I'm doing it, and I'm just going to so I should create one. I should create 2 tables. I could have asked Gemini to do it, but that'd be another thing in a minute. So I asked Gemini to create me 2 tables. So if I just put in here name, job role, and I put down signature. It's got it to there. And what I'm going to do now, I just click over to here. I basically get the name field, drag that to there, put in name. I can put a job role in, which would be a text field, and a signature. I'll put a signature field in here. And then basically, I'm sort of like done. If I want to put if there's more than one person who's got to sign off, I can create another set down here. And this time what I can do, I can click over the top here. It's got signature 1. I will click on here and go manage signers. So I'm going to put the signature signer 1, and I'm going to put down signer 2. Signer, I'll see that. And press save. All I've got to do then is go to signer 2, click on here, and just put down signer 2, and change the actual drop down thing to drop down field to signer 2. Really, really simple sort of stuff to do. And then from here, I can just go request a signature. So I click on request a signature. This then asks me to put the email addresses in who these people should be. So I'm going to put hello at Levett Consultancy. And yeah, and I'm going to put down info at Levett Consultancy. So actually, I do support at. That'd be another one. So support at. Let's see. Code.uk. Code.uk. Okay. Support at Levett. Put like a test signature in there. It must be valid and unique. And once you put the thing there, you put REST request. I just got emails, obviously slightly different on here. I don't know why that is. Probably because it thinks we haven't got real names. Don't to do that. And you do request signature. That will just go off. And then basically when that goes off, it will basically create a PDF of that book. Creates a PDF of the actual actual document. They will receive an email from that document, and then whoever those end users are, they will basically sign it, and then basically you'll get a signed PDF will come back as a signed document of that within the system. Now the caveat for using this system is that depending on your sharing permissions within your Google Workspace domain, it's affected by that. So if you basically have closed environment, only people inside your organization can share documents and you can't share outside your environment, it means you can't use email addresses outside your environment for doing that. If you want to share with people outside your environment, you have to then whitelist those, basically have to whitelist those users within the whitelisting section within Google Workspace. And then you can share documents with them, and it's all managed within the Google Docs and the Google Drive sort of section within the admin sort of console. But it's a really simple sort of thing. It's a really sort of simple feature, and it doesn't cost anything. It's part of this. It's currently in the beta version of this. So there's obviously more development going on with this. So we do encourage people, if the things are not working correctly and using this, please let us know. And we can raise basically development cases with Google as part of that to go into basically the timeline and see if we can get some fixes and stuff in there and things like that. But it's a really, really simple system to use. And I hope that quick, short little demonstration, hopefully we'll get that. If people want to see more of a demonstration within their organization, how it works, we're more than happy to jump on a call and show people, because you're using real live email addresses and stuff like that and things, so we can actually show you how that will work as well. Okay. Any questions? No, we're all good still? Still good. Cool. The next part of it, Gemini, which you just want to cover on. So, Gemini, there's literally two versions of Gemini, and Gemini is enabled within your Google admin console. So I'm just going to go to my admin console. Console. So it's underneath here, and you go to Gemini, and basically you need to choose whether it's on or off. Now, if you're in a school environment, Gemini is not enabled for under 18s, so you need to be aware of that. Everyone over 18, businesses have access to Gemini, and by default it's usually off, so you need to turn that on. Once Gemini is turned on, end users, your end users will then start getting disappear within their sort of task launcher, within all the application launcher. So you'll be able to see Gemini. And when you click on Gemini, this will take you to the web version of Gemini. This is basically the free version of Gemini. It's quite good. It does quite a lot of stuff, and it's quite useful. From basically, I will show you here. I am just going to click on settings and extensions, or dark theme. Actually, I'll turn dark theme on. So that's
Yeah,
is it all working?
Yep.
I didn't see that stuck on your one.
also, I don't think the camera's on.
Yes.
Is that?
Oh yeah, the camera's turned off at the conference room.
Okay. All back on again.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes, we're back.
And also, the other thing I just said, you've got dark mode now as part of basically of Gemini if you want that as well. So that's the actual the free version. It's quite a powerful tool. It's really, really good. It's really sort of nice. I've also used OpenAI as well, and I used to use that a bit before Gemini come along with this built-in interface. And I think Gemini is our go-to AI for checking things now. Yeah. I think just because the easiest bit, it's just like it's built into basically Google, and it's just there for us to actually use. Then we actually go on to the paid version of basically Gemini. So if you have the paid version of Gemini, you basically get this little symbol appears above your icons, above the applications which support Gemini. So when you click on this one, on this section here, you'll get a Gemini box that comes over here. And what I can do on here, I've got an email open what James, who's my project manager, sent across to us. And I can say, I'll show me a longer summary what James has been sending across to me, and this email tells me what James is talking about in this particular email. He sent me an email, Joe, about a link to a delivery pipeline. It's done on this date, and he's requested us to basically sit down with James to go through the pipeline things. So it's actually delivery line, not pipeline, delivery line, to go through this. So it's really, really simple. But also what you can do, okay, what also you can do, and this is something we done earlier on. This is also new to Gemini. If I go to Google Meet, I know I'm on a Google Meet in a moment, but this is a bit different one. If I do a new meeting, and I go start an instant meeting, and I'll make sure things are off. What I can do now, because I've got Gemini installed, I can click on here and say take notes with Gemini. And when I press that, literally Gemini records the conversation who I'm having with whoever that person actually is. It could be a team of people, and you have the conversation, and it basically takes meeting minutes for that. And the meeting minutes very much look like once you press start and taking notes, and at the end of it, don't close the session. You need to make sure you say stop taking notes when you press start. And when you close that session, after you press stop taking notes, within a few minutes, Gemini will send through basically a little Google Doc, and it just looks like this and tells you the meeting when it was, give you a quick summary of the meeting, and it gives you an update on basically what you've been discussing. And you can tidy it all up then before you put it into your minutes, which I think is quite a neat. Now, one of the other things, what we've also done, we basically, the other thing we also did, we basically done a Google Meets, but we also put international translation as well. So we've had basically some people in Germany talk to us in German, and basically it comes up as English subtitles on our screen here. And when we actually talk to them back in English, it converts our subtitles to German. So we can have an international conversation quite easily through Gemini. So it's a really, really sort of tool. It's quite useful within that environment. And that's really sort of a really good sort of difference to have as the paid version actually has. Again, as the paid version, when you open up any of your documents, so if I go to Google Docs, you'll always see if I go blank documents, because I've got the paid version, it allows me to basically help me write meeting notes, email drafts. It's already got stuff in there as well. So if I go in this one here, help me write a proposal to adopt a serverless environment for a SME for our SME. Actually, what I'm going to put for Levett Consultancy? It's our token. At our HQ in Essex. Press great. And it's basically, once it does that, it gives me a little document here. And what I can do, if I'm not happy with what I've written, I can actually ask it to have a more casual tone. So I use much more looser words and things there, much more sort of friendlier words. I also can ask it to elaborate more. And I also can ask it to go shorter. If I ask it to go shorter, it just goes more into a bullet point sort of like presentation. So if I go to like shorten, it would just go back to a shortened version with some bullet points in there like that. And it gives me different options as well. So I go through the bottom here, I can click on the different types of versions it's actually created. And the one I might like to keep is I might do that one there. So I go insert, and that puts that into my Google Doc, and I can share that with my sort of like team and other colleagues and things like that. That's sort of like really, really simple way of doing that. Now, the thing what we're also going to share with people, as we said earlier on as part of the session, we're also going to share this with everyone later on, which is the 30 ways how to use Gemini. It says education, but we would have one for business as well. And this goes through a number of different exercises people can do, and actually to get familiar with the free version as well as the paid version. Basically, I'm trying to think, is anything else on Gemini? Anything changed today? We're still the same, aren't we, with Gemini?
Yeah,
it's still paid. There's no trials, is there, for Gemini? No demos, trials?
The only way you can do it, if you're interested in doing a hands-on trial, we can set it up in our demo domain, and you could have access it for a day. So we can set it up for you to be accessible for an 8-hour period. You just tell us what day you'd like that to be set up on. We can set that up, give you usernames and passwords to log in, and then you'll be able to go in and play with all the Gemini tools. And there's some stuff already in there built that you can play with, and you could do that for a day period. But there's no actual free trials. The only way of doing it is to get a flex license, which is monthly. So you could have it for 1 month, try it. You can share it around during that month. You can share the users, the details, the account with anyone. So you can move the Gemini around for other people to use it. And at the end of the month, if you didn't want to use it anymore, you could turn it off. So that's the only way of actually having a real kind of proper trial with it in your actual domain. But we can set up a day trial for up to 30 users if you like that. And just get in contact and we can arrange that.
Excellent, thanks, Stephen. And also what we were happy to do today as well for everyone who's joined today, just it's a big event for Google this year, because people might not realize that Google Classroom is 10 years old, and they're also introducing Gemini into Google Classroom as well. So there's a course which is going to be part of available in Google Classroom if anyone hasn't logged in. But we'll obviously be able to do that at another session, or we can run a specific session if some people want us to do about using Gemini with Google Classroom and things on there. But for everyone who's attended today as well, not only will we just give you the 30 days, the 30 ways how to use Gemini, but we've also got a special badge, which I don't know if we've got the badge available, the Google Classroom 10 years badge we can give to all the customers as well.
I think you should be able to get it.
Yeah, we've got it there. So everyone will have a special badge. You could put it on your basically emails and things, or just do whatever you want with that as well. So we'll be able to send that across to everyone today as well. So basically the new 10-year anniversary badge for Gemini, along with the actual Classroom, and the new basically how to use how to use Gemini in basically 30 different ways, means we'll be able to do that. Have we got any questions about anything Google related, even things we haven't covered today? And for once, I'm literally well on schedule. I'm usually like well over.
Yeah, let's give people the time. So if there's anything I want to ask.
Or anything they can recommend for the next session. Be a good idea.
I will find the Google Classroom badge.
Don't worry about it.
Oh, one question about Google Vids.
Google Vids.
Yeah.
How did they know that? We're not allowed to talk about that because we were under NDA on Google Vids. I wanted to show people how to use Google Vids.
So it
but
looks
we're not
really
allowed
interesting. Yeah, you're right. It does look really interesting. That's from Alicia, I think.
Listen, yeah, so we can do Google, we can talk offline about Google Vids, but I can't do it on a public forum because NDAs.
Apparently it's on their website. Was Alicia now?
Yeah.
So
but I've got the actual. So literally last week we had we're basically a thing called we're part of their development community of their trusted testers, and it's basically not very. I'm not allowed to basically showcase that at the moment till I get approval from Google. But I can talk to people and show people in a private environment. So if people want to see Google Vids, I did actually show some people last week when it basically first appeared. I think we first got access to it last Monday, I think it was.
Yeah.
So I turned around and thought, everyone else has got this. And then I got a letter come through saying, we've got a part of our tester, we've got this to go through. But yeah, we tried it. It's literally looks like what we played with it. It's like a web version of doing video. So literally it uses Gemini AI. You ask it what video you want to create. It goes away and creates a template for you. It doesn't create the videos. It will create the template stuff for you. And then the template gives you insertion points to put the videos in. But within the actual AI, within the things, it can tidy up the video for you. So you can do clipping and basically do the streaming. What we've seen so far of that. Hopefully that's not going to get me into trouble too much with that. I can see with that stuff, But we got access to that last week for the first time.
So hopefully next session there might be something that we can talk about fully. Yeah, if the Google police haven't got us. Thanks, Bobby. Bobby said the secret's safe with us, so yeah. It's like Fight Club. Don't talk about it.
It's like because the other things what we've also been working on. I didn't actually mention it, Dave. I'll mention it actually. On the GCPW side of things, one of the things what we've had with lots of our customers who do use it, there's always a problem with deploying applications, especially when you've got legacy apps, especially in school environments who use older apps and they need to be deployed to machines, and you ain't got time to go around installing it. We're just working on product at the minute, which we put in our customers got it in the newsletter, but don't know if any customers come through asked us want to be part of our alpha testing arrangements, where we're using Google Cloud to deploy applications to devices. I think so long as the application is either XE, MSI and stuff like that. We work with creating subscription things around, which allows schools to put the applications there, and it gets assigned via GCPW to your devices. So the idea is that you build your new device, you sign in, and the applications for that particular device will get pulled down from the cloud and installed for you. Things, but we're looking for some people who's interested in testing that, working with us on that. So we've got it working internally, but that's internally in a quite neat environment of things. So we want to see it more in a wild environment out there with our customers, and people want to do testing so we can actually iron out any bugs and things with this technology. So that's something we're interested in. So again, people on this stage, if people interested in being an alpha tester for our Google deployment services, for our application deployment service, more than happy to add them part of that conversation as well. I think that badge thing we had yesterday, that definitely come through from Google yesterday, wasn't it? Definitely was a thing. I knew about that. Just come to me at the end of it, did about the Google thing. That's why I would have had it more prepared for so I can show people what the logo looked like.
Okay, I don't think we have any more questions. So.
Okay, no problem. So what we'll be doing, we'll be sending off. I've got a thing now. I've got a badge. Yeah, I've got a badge. 2 seconds before we finish. Yes, I've got I'll quickly want to show people the badge, and then we're finished. Just quick do this. Present. So everyone knows me. I always want to try and get the things sorted so people can see stuff. Yeah, present now. That's it. So yeah, this is the new Google badge and things like this. We're just going to type it up for classroom and stuff like that, people. So we'll basically be able to let people out along with the 30 ways how to use Gemini, things like that. If anyone wants to basically have a little bit more in depth with Gemini, where we can do things, feel free just to reach out to us. We can organise something to have that sort of chat. If you're interested in Google and basically Google Vids, feel free to reach out. We obviously can have that chat offline. Anyone knows more about GCPW, obviously we can help you with that as well, and show you some of the other features, what we're doing with that as well. And lastly, anyone interested in being one of our alpha testers for deploying applications through GCPW, please reach out to us, because we're more than welcome to help us with that development. That'd be really appreciated as well. So yeah, thank you for your time for attending today. Thank you, Albert. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you.
And thank you, Connor.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.